Embark on a whirlwind journey through high school drama, unexpected ice-sky portals, and magical mayhem in a tale where gossip rivals faster than the fire in the jungle. Meet Yusato, the not-so-handsome loner thrust into a world of enchanted challenges. As he navigates stolen umbrellas, peculiar magic, and the unwavering charisma of his newfound companions, Inukami and Kazuki, life takes a fantastical turn. Brace yourself for shocking revelations as they're summoned as heroes to combat the Demon Lord's siege, each discovering their unique magical prowess. Join Yusato on an extraordinary quest, where even rainy days bring magical marathons and unexpected friendships, promising a spellbinding adventure that defies the ordinary. The story begins in a high school, where gossip spreads faster than Wi-Fi. There's Bass Simkasuki, the heartthrob simp, and Inukami, the student prez with more confidence than a rock star. Meanwhile, Yusato, the not-so-handsome loner, is busy saving baby birds and having his anime spotlight swiped. Yusato, envious of impressive students, wishes for change but faces a string of misfortunes, including a stolen umbrella. Despite the temptation to take another, he decides to endure the storm, embracing kindness as his sole remarkable trait. The Rain Whisperer takes a seat and dreams of ending the downpour with a snap. Alas, the rain plays hard to get, intensifying just to mock him. Hours drag on, and Yusato's stuck in a watery purgatory. Then, like a plot twist, Inukami's voice breaks through the sound of raindrops. She's burning the midnight oil, and Yusato's heart starts playing a drum solo. Stumbling over words like a teenager trying to impress their crush, Yusato's charisma takes a rain check. Inukami, the umbrella-wielding savior, notices Yusato's lack of rain gear. With school gates closing and a RomCom, she offers to share her umbrella. Just as Yusato anticipates sharing with Inukami, Kazuki appears, offering his spare umbrella, thwarting Yusato's hopes. Inukami questions Kazuki's familiarity with Yusato, discovering they're classmates. Surprisingly, Kazuki's friendliness elevates Yusato's friend count to 1. Kazuki reassures Yusato, and Inukami joins in, forming an unexpected trio. Yusato goes from friendless to having classmates as friends, finally making life more interesting. On the stroll home, Yusato spills the tea on Kazuki. Turns out, he's not the Casanova everyone expected, despite his popularity with the ladies. He also expresses disbelief at Inukami's approachability despite her goddess-like status. To break the ice, Yusato questions the rumored romance between Kazuki and Inukami, but they deny it, clarifying they're just frequently together. Inukami then asks about Yusato's future plans, prompting him to realize he hadn't considered it. Kazuki finds it strange, as Inukami had asked him the same question earlier. Inukami, lacking ambition due to effortless success, relates more to Yusato's sense of not fitting in. In the midst of their walk, Kazuki and Inukami hit the brakes, insisting they hear enchanting church bells. Meanwhile, poor Yusato's left standing there, hearing nothing but the distant echoes of his own FOMO. Approaching them, he unexpectedly gets pulled into an ice-sky portal, even though he was never meant to be there. The magic circle beneath them activates, teleporting them with varied reactions, Kazuki confused, Inukami ecstatic, and Yusato cut off mid-sentence. Yusato, opening his eyes, finds himself in a palace before a king. He questions Kazuki about the strange situation, while Inukami revels in the fantasy. The royal awakening, the king opens his mouth, ready to spill the royal beans. But hold up, Kazuki can't resist barging in, demanding answers like a teenager questioning a curfew. A guard steps up to school Kazuki on royal etiquette, but the king, being the bigger monarch, gracefully apologizes and extends the invitation to listen to the royal spiel. Identifying himself as King Lloyd of the Linger Kingdom, he explains their summoning as heroes to combat the Demon Lord's siege. Inukami is thrilled, but Kazuki, feeling it's not his problem, wants to return home. The king apologizes again, revealing the summoning only works in one direction, making a return impossible. Frustrated, Kazuki faces armed guards, realizing a fight won't help. The king descends from his throne, kneeling before the trio, promising to find a way to send them back. He requests their aid in the meantime. Inkumani question why they're labeled as heroes without information. The king explains that the summoning spell seeks potential heroes, evident by a bell sound. Yusato, accidentally summoned, isn't a potential hero. Off to the magical rodeo, Welsi, the wizard in charge, directs the crew to a hands-on experience literally. Time for a magic orb meetup, where they'll slap their hands on it to reveal the strength of their wizardry attributes. As Inukami eagerly takes her turn, Kazuki asks Yusato if he's upset about the situation. Yusato, treated well despite the accident, remains optimistic. Inukami can't wait to touch the orb. Inukami's result is thunder with a massive mana reserve. Kazuki's rare light magic will be a potent asset against demons. Yusato, with low expectations, touches the orb, making it glow emerald green. Welsi rushes to inform the king of this unexpected development. Welsi storms into the throne room, spilling the mystical tea to the king about Kazuki and Inukami's wizard potential. But hold your wands, folks, the real head-scratcher is Yusato and his mysterious green magic. The king initially jokes about dark magic, but becomes alarmed when Welsi mentions the color. Yusato wonders if he's radioactive, but the reality is much worse. Plot twist alert. The king, in full strategy mode, decides to relocate Yusato for his own safety, recognizing the unicorn in the room his rare and mysterious magic. But hold onto your enchanted hats because there's a wild card in the deck. Enter Rose, the troublemaker with the same magical mojo, strolling into the throne room like she owns the place. Despite others' fearful expressions, she appears diligent. Spotting Yusato, she questions if he's a hero. The king deflects, labeling him as an accidental participant. Rose, captain of the rescue squad, introduces herself and moves on to Inukami and Kazuki, sparing Yusato for the moment. The king promises to address his situation later, providing him accommodation. However, Yusato, still curious about his magic's significance, unintentionally reveals it to Rose, who immediately attempts to kidnap him. In a code-red emergency, the king instructs Welsi to evacuate Yusato for his safety. Welsi creates a magic bubble, propelling Yusato out of the castle at high speed. However, Rose, ever eager for a challenge, pursues him with astonishing speed. Catching up, she effortlessly bursts the bubble, causing considerable damage to Yusato. She informs the king of her intention to take him for training, promising to mold him into a proper healer despite the unconventional methods. Helpless, the king watches as Yusato gets abducted, and the news is later relayed to Inukami and Kazuki. While Yusato isn't in mortal danger, there's a risk of psychological damage. Green signifies rare healing magic, and Rose, a healer herself, has taken him for specialized training. However, her unconventional methods violate safety regulations and Geneva Convention restrictions. Yusato finds himself surrounded by 5 burly guys, pinned against a wall as Rose explains her plans. These men are part of the rescue squad, not healers. Rose, personally overseeing Yusato's training, makes it clear he's in for a tough ride. With limited options, Yusato faces an uncertain fate. The next day, Yusato's still in this magical maze. Lo and behold, the rescue squad brings news he's got visitors. Inumaki and even Kazuki, the concerned squad, drop by to check on him post-incident. Yusato, ever the unicorn of reassurance, lets them know he's okay now. When asked about the severity of the training, Yusato, surprisingly calm, acknowledges its toughness, but he determined to become more powerful with the vigorous training, and Inumaki finds his determination quite inspiring. Meanwhile, Wo, watching their adjustment to the world, admires their ability to cope and vows to give his training his all. Rose appears in the discussion, asking if the heroes have left, and Yusato responds robotically. Rose, in response, hands him a diary, instructing him to document his experiences or training regimen. The training is set to begin after breakfast, leaving Yusato to mentally prepare for what lies ahead. Surprisingly, Yusato's initial magical training under Rose wasn't as bad as he anticipated. However, the real challenge began on day 2 when he was subjected to relentless running until his muscles gave out. Rose, using healing magic, revived him repeatedly, pushing him to run until he dropped dead, reviving him each time. Usato, the unicorn in training, goes all in with the team, clocking in field hours like a farmhand on turbo mode. Days 5 and 6? More running, because why not turn this into a magical marathon, right? But oh, the irony on a rainy day, Usato slips like a cartoon character on a banana peel. Optimism takes a rain check as pain crashes the party, overshadowing any joy like a thunderstorm on a picnic day. Fast forward to the dramatic 7th day, no respite. Usato's still running, now fueled more by stubbornness than anything else. Until inevitably, he collapses like a drama queen on a fainting couch, succumbing to the exhaustion. Rose's forceful kick reinforced her message. The more he despised her, the harsher the training became for him. With this newfound skill, he could now heal his injuries and run indefinitely. In a display of sheer determination, Usato channels his frustration into his training, fueled by a desire to prove himself to Rose. Rose, seemingly able to read his mind, adds 30 more laps to his running routine, intensifying the training. The following day brings a new challenge, over 1,000 push-ups in one go. Exhausted, Usato nears his limit, but the torn muscle fibers no longer hinder him as he can heal himself. Rose reveals the importance of physical strength for healers, emphasizing the need to escape from danger swiftly on the battlefield. His routine becomes a combination of extensive running and weight-bearing push-ups. Usato feels his body growing lighter, prompting Rose to add weights to maintain the challenge. Day 21 of Magical Boot Camp. Kazuki and Inui spot Usato doing push-ups with Rose and a 10-ton rock. Usato, flexing a newfound backbone, tries a cheeky comment about Rose being light. Spoiler alert, it backfires and another rock almost turns him into a magical pancake. Despite the pain, Usato persists, impressing Rose, who believes he might be battlefield ready sooner than expected. As Kazuki and Inumaki observe Usato's intense training, Kazuki is appalled at the cruelty of the regimen, while Inumaki is fixated on Usato's now impressive muscles. The captain accompanying them confronts Rose, denouncing the psychological damage inflicted on Usato. Rose defends her methods, asserting that Usato is adapting well and that he is destined to be her right-hand man. Usato, taken aback by Rose's plans for him, never agreed to such a role. Rose grants him a lunch break to catch up with his friends. Alongside Kazuki, Inumaki, and Princess Celia, they gather under a tree. Usato learns that Siglis, the strongest knight in the kingdom, teaches Kazuki and Inumaki swordsmanship. Intrigued, Usato apologizes if he was rude to Princess Celia, who prefers to be treated like any normal person. They share pastries, and Kazuki inquires about Usato's training, learning that today was relatively easy for him. Kazuki and Inumaki reveal their routine, including sword training with Siglis and magical training. Usato's harsh training lacks consideration for mental health, but he has adapted to it. As Inumaki gets distracted by Usato's abs, Kazuki asks if Usato is struggling in this world. Usato spills the magical secrets, confessing that his initial instinct was to bolt. Yet, as the days passed and the enchanted boot camp became his not-so-humble abode, he started seeing it as home sweet home. Hero or not, he's got a newfound determination, not to mention a dash of courage fueled by the desire to lend a unicorn-sized hand in the battles against the demon army. The lunch thief from a week ago arrives to deliver Usato's lunch, sparking a playful brawl between them. Usato, with his ability to heal, seems to have the upper hand. Kazuki and the others contemplate intervening, but decide to let them have their fun, realizing that Usato is enjoying himself. As they prepare to return to the castle, Inui reflects on the purpose of Usato being brought into this world. She believes they should strive to become the best versions of themselves. That night, after his scuffle, Usato takes a bath and appreciates the positive changes in his body due to intense training. The next day, Usato is informed that he'll be spending the day with Rose. Oblivious to what awaits him, he follows her into the forest. Rose unveils the challenge. Usato's not allowed back until he takes down a grand grizzly bear. Combat skills? Zilch. Guidance? Nah. Rose casually catapults him into the forest, Mission Impossible style, leaving him to face the grizzly on his lonesome. The episode ends with an intriguing question: can Usato's newfound abilities and determination withstand the wild? We'll find out in the next recap. Till then, don't forget to show your support, like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't the next update on Usato's story.